Gaius is an obsessive, neckbeard loser who for some crazy reason decides to reincarnate as a young boy. Weird move, bro. He thinks it will raise his level and increase his power. Yeah, cause being a kid does that. Psych, he now goes by Matthias. While heading to the capital with a merchant, his crest activates warning that an enemy is nearby. Just then an enormous tiger, a calamity-grade monster, appears, but Matthias gives it a chop and they continue their journey. Once in the capital, he enters a store. He overhears a cute adventurer begging the store owner to repair her broken sword as she needs it for an entrance exam. The storekeeper says that unfortunately he cannot repair it on his own and offers a ready-made sword. Still eavesdropping, Matthias interrupts and offers to cast the enchantment she needs. Dismissively, the storekeeper says Matthias' weak crest is incapable of but the girl accepts his offer. She then introduces herself as Alma La Pussy. Yes, you heard that right. That's her name, and Mr. Reincarnation's full name is Matthias Haldesheimer. What in the old world Europe is going on? Anyway, she calls him Matty and Lil Bro's cheeks light up like a Christmas tree. Just then, Luri, Alma's friend, arrives, and Matty almost wets his pants with excitement. Chill, homie. They share a weird, awkward moment of mutual cringe, and the embarrassment is palpable. That's when the storekeeper enters the waiting room with their repaired sword. Matty immediately gets to work on enchanting it, and within a few seconds, he's all done. Minuteman magic activate. Luri takes back her repaired sword, and without thinking, she slices straight through the wooden table they're sitting at. Whoops, enchantment achieved. The storekeeper is at first flabbergasted, but immediately offers Matty a job. He politely declines. He doesn't want to work for you, fool. Next, we see Matthias at school taking the magical entrance exams. His girl crush Luri is there too, along with Alma. Alma is overwhelmed with the difficulty, but Luri encourages them all, and while battling the examiner, she slices his sword in half. Score, she thanks Matthias profusely for the enchantment. Next up for testing is Matty, and surprisingly a knight awaits him. The whole capital has been buzzing over Luri's overpowered sword, and word got round that it was Matthias' doing. The knight seems to know Matthias' father, and in a show of nepotism says that if Matty can kick his butt, he'll pass him no matter his other scores. And they fight. Matty is skilled AF, and quickly disarms the knight, who is also the captain of the Knight's Order. The onlookers are dumbfounded while Luri and Alma turn into cheerleaders. In the next test, they have to use flame magic, and Luri is a powerhouse. Matthias starts an internal monologue stating how shocked he is that people still use verbal incantations, as these are not ideal in battle. Imagine saying a long spell out loud while someone's attacking you. Makes no freaking sense during combat. Matty thinks non-verbal attacks are more powerful and more sensible. Anyway, Luri passes with flying colors thanks to her crest of glory, which is a top-ranked crest, while Matty's crest, the crest of failure, is considered the weakest. Matty knows all expect him to fail, and even the teacher underestimates his skill level. But Matthias is no punk, and he lights up the place with powerful magic. He uses non-verbal magic and makes such a big explosion that he destroys the entire practice field. Damn, son. And just like that, Matty and his girl crew are accepted to magic school. Here we meet Headmaster Edward. Edward welcomes the students and wishes them success in their studies, stating that abilities mean more than lineage or crest. All peasants are welcome. After this short but sweet speech, Matthias is called into his office. Matthias is filled with anxiety and wonders if he'll be punished for destroying the practice area. Edward is aware of Matthias' overpowered actions, such as his wordless spells and effortlessly overpowering the captain of the Knight's Order. Edward is so impressed with Matthias that he asks him to teach teachers and students alike to use wordless magic. Matthias is more than willing to help, but there's a problem with regards to the Academy's sister school, the First Royal Academy. That school is endorsed by the nobility, and only their curriculum is allowed to be taught, which means wordless magic is outright banned in all other schools in the kingdom. Headmaster Edward says F them nobles. He needs Matty to give a demo at the next inter-school competition, showing them all the power of non-verbal magic. Matty agrees, and all the onlookers in the office are overjoyed. As the days pass in magic school, Matthias has been promoted to special guest instructor. He does a special flying non-verbal fire attack, and the students are stunned. Some even softly wonder if he's a demon. Then their teacher, Mr. Gaius, shows that he too can use non-verbal magic as his sword sends fireballs flying. He motivates the students that even though he is dunce at casting, Maddie could even teach his dumb bum, meaning everyone can learn this new skill. The students quickly pick up the technique, with Alma being a showstopper in how fast she learns their new method. She grunts like a Wimbledon-level tennis player though. Ha ha ha. Maddie checks on Luri, who is slowly getting the hang of it until she runs out of mana. They wonder why non-verbal magic has been banned in the first place. Then Maddie asks for her hand, making her blush like a tomato in bloom. But no funny business, he just wants to transfer some magic to Luri. With her power boosted, Luri is now capable of non-verbal magic. A month later, and it's time for the inter-school competition against the First Royal Academy. Luri shares some deets with Maddie about the so-called magical chosen ones of the Royal First Academy. Apparently, these overpowered casters always steal the show from Second Academy anytime they're about to win. That's when Matthias' crest lights up and warns him that a person with 10 times his magical power is nearby. This shocks the girls and they warn him that that is demon-level power. Apparently, demons cannot be beaten by mere humans. Several court magicians are needed as they are the natural enemies of humans. As Matthias enters the battlefield, he reminisces on how demons have survived even into this current era. Then he is spotted by some noble students from the First Royal Academy who trash talks and try to bully Matthias for his weak crest. We spot the headmaster of the Royal Academy, and he's just as much of a douche canoe as his students are. Arrogant and rude. That's when Matthias senses that his arrogant, loudmouth loser of an opponent is actually a demon. He is undercover, using a fake crest and magic to hide his true form. The fight begins, and some of the noble students run towards him, shouting out incantations looking absolutely ridiculous. Matthias instantly defeats them with wordless magic. The demon is angered and activates his spell before he even verbalizes a single word of magic. Matthias, of course, notices this immediately, as does the watching crowd. Things are getting spicy. Matthias goes straight for the demon's head, knowing that that is their weak spot. The demon flies up, dodging and diving, and the fight continues. Now Matthias understands why the world has changed. Matthias assumes the demons must have infiltrated the Royal Academy, that way ensuring the non-verbal and more powerful spells were abandoned. Smart way to keep human spells as weak as possible. Also, they must be behind declaring the fourth crest, the crest of failure, to hide what it's really capable of. While he considers all this, the demon lunges for him. Matthias quickly uses a spell to break the demon's incognito mode and reveal his true form. Dude's name is Devilus. That's flipping obvious. Devilus uses a fire blast, which Matthias blocks easily. Matthias uses his big brain skill to expertly analyze Devilus's next move and strikes him without hesitation, bringing that big wing beauty down. Sayonara? This is when we get a flashback to Gaius's past and see he was a powerful sage who almost completely eradicated demonkind. We also get insight as to why Gaius used a reincarnation spell, and why thousands of years later he was reborn as a son of the Hildesheimer family. In a world that sees the strongest crest as the weakest and worst spellcasting is in decline. Back to the present, Luri is overjoyed that Matthias defeats the demon. Afterwards, when Matthias learns that no one has been able to defeat a demon single-handedly in their entire history, his flabber is gasted. He is then awarded an audience with the king. The king is super impressed and proud like a daddy, and wants to reward Matthias with land and sing his praises throughout the land. But Matthias doesn't want land, and the king also prefers to keep this whole debacle private, as otherwise it will become known that demons have infiltrated their ranks. Matthias just wants more power. So the king offers him a magic sword with double enchantments instead. Matthias realizes this sword is the same one that he had enchanted for the storekeeper. Geez Louise, no thanks. The king notices Matthias' surprise at being offered a sword he himself has blessed, so he simply asks him what he wants. Cheekily, Maddie responds that he would like the rights to all resources found in the kingdom's dungeons. Matthias figures that the king is probably unaware of all the great treasures, monster parts and metals to be found in them, and he's correct as the king grants Matthias' wish. The king then informs Maddie that all the magical chosen ones of the kingdom have disappeared. They suspect them all to be demons, and the king goes so far as to say that he suspects that demons have been infiltrating them for centuries. Matthias thinks back to his previous life as Gaius, where he had nearly eliminated all demons. The king does wonder and hope that the demon threat is now over, But Maddie bursts his bubble and says since the demons have been unmasked, their next move may be to muster all their forces and destroy the kingdom. The king is filled with fear and unsure of how to proceed. Lucky for him, Matthias is a G. He knows exactly how long till the demons have summoned their forces, and also just which moves to make to protect the entire kingdom. They are to form a magical barrier made by using divine artifacts. If everyone works together, they should be ready within a month. Plus, they should keep practicing non-verbal magic. The king appoints Matthias as leader of their fight. This leadership position also gives Matthias access to anything he may require, be it magical or not. Our man has clearance to all of the top secrets. While searching through the king's private collection, Matthias comes across several of his enchanted weapons made thousands of years ago. Talk about a blast from the past, a handmade magical overpowered sword, and a superpowered pendant that boosts battle gains. Meanwhile, Matthias keeps teaching the college students non-verbal magic. His fellow students were improving by the day, and word had gotten out that Matthias was making a powerful barrier. He invites Alma and Lurie to join his dungeon exploration party. They of course want to join, but fear they may hold him back as they aren't as good as he is. He teaches Alma some super magical moves that can be made with arrows, and Lurie literally jumps at the offer to join him. She presses up against him, begging him to teach her all he knows. Calm ya, Tata's lady, it's getting obsessed. And so their dungeon-dwelling party is formed, and off they go to the dungeon underneath the very academy they attend school at. As Matthias and his crew walk through the dungeon's first floor, Maddie rushes off, telling the girls to their utmost surprise that he'll find them a monster to fight. The girls are freaked, but he quickly returns with a cute as pie little Pokemon-looking thingy. He tells the girls to use it as target practice. Alma fills her arrow with magic. She infused her magical power straight into them, and fires. Success. Alma is gleeful, and Matthias gives her more tips and tricks. She follows his advice and fires away. The infused arrow changes course mid-flight and hits another monster who had been hiding. Brave Alma heads deeper into the dungeon to further practice all she has been taught. Lurie, feeling left out, rushes up to Matthias asking when it's her turn for his special training. Easy now, miss. Matthias tells her they need to do something else first, which is the starting point of all enchantments. Making your own weapons. I think he may need a weapon against her pushiness. As they walk, Matthias stops to destroy a wall with his magic. He explains that the entire dungeon is made up of valuable resources. Then he teaches Lurie, and thus the process behind creating a basic weapon. Our boy is making alchemy moves. Lurie is a fast learner, eager to impress her boy crush with her abilities. Go on, girl. Next step is learning to enchant them. Meanwhile, Alma is becoming a boss in her own right with her magical arrows technique. She is able to defeat multiple monsters with a single attack. She heads back to the lovebirds and is stupefied at Lurie's progression. Lurie can make and enchant her own weapons. Matthias tells the girls to prepare themselves as he wants to reach the 10th floor of the dungeon. They hesitate, but he believes in them, and off they go. As they head deeper and deeper, suddenly, several monsters appear. Lurie and Alma stand their ground and defeat the monsters with ease. Still deeper they go as more and more monsters appear. But teamwork is the dream work, and the girls support each other excellently. The party levels up quickly as the pendant from his previous life doubles their experience points. Just then, a three-eyed wolf appears. Matthias warns that this rabid-looking fellow is way more dangerous. The beast attacks, and the girls defend and then fight back, overpowering it quickly. The cuties surprise Matthias and he praises them. Matthias creates a safe zone for their camp so they can rest. While our girls rest, Matthias informs them that he will be continuing on alone to the 25th floor. Flustered, they warn Maddie that the deepest anyone has gone is the 23rd floor, and they were a party of 30 with protection of the legendary god of magic Gaius. Wait a second, is she talking about our main man in his previous life? Matthias is surprised, but he continues on alone into the deeper floors of the dungeon. He gathers the resources he finds, but then he senses a powerful monster, a dungeon floor boss. Wary but brave, he traces the energy. Goodness me, that's when he comes upon many red glowing-eyed monsters who attack simultaneously. He defeats them, and that's when the dungeon boss appears, a giant arc serpent. The giant serpent can melt the ground with its venom, and the toxic fumes poison the air, but Matthias has no fear. Finally a challenge, he thinks to himself. He employs his combat specialized crest against the dungeon boss. Matthias is enjoying himself, and he tries new and old techniques against the dungeon boss. He shatters a magic stone and he combines it with his sword. Then he strikes the snake, and his overpowered attack causes an earthquake. This awakes the girls, who get a fright, but they aren't the only ones. We see two demons who have also sensed the huge magical explosion in the dungeon. They wonder if it really happened, as the demons know humans are pretty weak these days. Matthias returns to the 10th floor, and he proudly shows the girls the defeated dungeon boss's body. Later that day, Matthias and his crew visit the Adventurers Guild. The other adventurers give them the stink eye. Apparently, many students of the Second Magic Academy have been taking their quests since they've learnt non-verbal magic. Alma informs the cutie at the desk that they're there to offload their hard-earned loot. Maddie opens a portal and drops the head of the defeated dungeon boss at their feet. After much screaming, the receptionist learns that Matthias has a storage spell. She asks if he anything else to sell, and he pulls out a giant magic stone. Wide-eyed, the receptionist said the stone qualifies as a national treasure. Nonchalantly, Matthias says that this stone is still too small for his purposes. Worried, the receptionist doesn't think her guild can even afford to pay for all their loot. Afterwards, as our crew walks through the town, we learn they earned 750 gold coins as their reward. Maddie suggests they split it 3 ways. What a noble gesture, big homie. On their way back to the academy, Matthias suddenly senses the energy of demons and warns the girls it's best to return quickly. Then we see 2 buff ultra macho demons with 6-packs made by the gods. They figured out that a student of the academy has defeated their homeboy Devilus. Matthias is able to read their strength meters, kinda like the scouters used by Frieza's army in DBZ. He tells the girls that he wants to battle the stronger demon, and he wants them to battle the weaker one. They're as shocked as we are. Are you sure about this, Maddie? Matthias has a plan, and he encourages the girls. This motivates them, and off they go. While the demons are discussing their game plan mid-flight, Maddie pops up out of nowhere, startling them. He immediately strikes at the strongest, but his attack is repelled. The demons are in revenge mode and attack Matthias simultaneously. Luckily, Matthias dodges a fire spell and he deflects it back to Lord Asheral. Impressed, he congratulates Matthias, but Maddie uses his big brain attack and casts more spells. Matthias uses strategy to lure the demons into a trap. That's when Alma starts firing arrows at them to disrupt magical power and slow them down. The 2 demons split up, which is exactly what Matthias wanted. Lord Asheral starts preparing a powerful spell to eliminate Matthias, but Matthias is still in big brain mode and uses a spirit ball to burst through the demon's attack. Now the demon is dodging Matthias as he greatly underestimated him. He attempts to slice and dice big homie, but every hit misses. Matthias counters and he injures the demon's back. Lord Asheral is stunned by Maddie's moves and rudely calls him a beast. Ha ha ha. After that, the demon tries to escape, but Maddie blocks him. Lord Asheral uses a hidden cast to try and trap Matthias. Matthias immediately avoids the attack and escapes. Lord Asheral does manage to destroy the spheres that were irritatingly shocking the crap out of him every time he tried to flee. Matthias shows himself to be a skilled sword master while fighting the demon. The demon gets mouthy, but while chatting Maddie quickly casts a magic spell on the injured demon. Matthias watches the magic electrify the demon, making it weaker, giving him the opportunity to easily defeat him. He eliminates him with ease. At the same time, Alma and Lurie are fighting the weaker demon. They manage to injure him and Matthias joins the fray, preparing to eliminate demon number 2. Matthias tricks the demon into believing he has a very powerful spell named Light of Euthanization that easily excommunicates demons. This scares the poop out the demon, who tries to flee. Maddie instructs Alma to shoot him with her infused arrows. Alma manages to pop his wing off like it's a piece of KFC that she's about to chow on. This forces the demon to stop, and that's the moment that Matthias attacks with a sword. The demon is euthanized effectively. Both demons are excommunicated. Matthias and his girl crew are champions. The battle draws a crowd. Matthias is in no mood for drama, so he grabs the girls and up they go. He flies them right up out of there. The next day, Matthias and his girls are invited to appear before the king. He praises them and says to choose their reward. Matthias thinks for a second and asks for all of the dungeons. He wants them all, and the king grants it. Next up, Alma and Lurie are asked the same. Both request money. You know, sad girls love money? The king laughs at their gold diggery behavior and agrees. Out of nowhere, Matthias stands and shouts at the roof. Buddy comes across as a loony, but his magical senses are warning him that they are being spied on. The former captain of the Mage's Order, an undercover enemy demon, had been using magic to spy on the king. Matthias uses his own power to stop the demon's spell and injures him too. Edward, their principal, and the king were stunned at the knowledge. How long has the demon been watching them? Matthias lets them know that he'll be able to locate the demon's hideout. Matthias thinks it's a good idea to go pay them a visit, but the location of the hideout is about a year's travel. Matthias says even his teleportation magic will be useless in this situation, which shocks the principal and the girls that Matthias can cast teleportation magic. Matthias comes up with a well-thought-out solution to their problem. It resides at the top of a mountain. Upon arrival, the girls are filled with fear and almost poop their pants at the sight of Matthias' solution. It's a thing of myth and legend, a giant dark dragon. Matthias and the dark dragon Ayers go way back. He had battled her and won more than 1,000 years ago. Upon his entry into her cave, old girl immediately threatens him, telling him to hit the road or turn into a flaming Cheeto ready for snacking. Matthias doesn't listen as he can't believe that Ayers doesn't recognize him. Ayers prepares a powerful fire attack against Matthias, but he quickly and easily negates it. This shocks Ayers so bad her voice changes from a deep rumble to a pipsqueak. She sounds like a little girl. Flabbergasted, she asks if he used a disruption spell and how he speaks dragon. She wonders if he knows Gaius, and Matthias replies that he is Gaius's reincarnation. Upon hearing this, Ayers immediately apologizes and begs for forgiveness. Matthias tells her to calm her tatas. He will not hurt her, in fact, he needs her help. He also informs Ayers that he now has the crest of failure. Matthias invites the girls to come and get to know the dragon that will be bringing them to Demon's hideout. That's when Ayers tells him that her wings were destroyed in a massive apocalyptic event that sent humanity back to the Stone Ages, so she simply cannot fly. Matthias quickly heals her wings and she thanks him. He then asked her to keep his secret about being a reincarnated person and to speak English further so the girls can understand. Ayers is introduced to Alma and Lurie, who are stunned that a dragon can communicate in English. Our crew set off for their journey to the demon's lair. Ayers is so happy with her healed wings that she attempts to fly at her top speed. Matthias quickly stops her because none of them would be able to handle that speed. During this conversation, he also learns that he and his friends have been named gods of magic in the current humanity's timeline. The dragon is instructed to fly at 1/500th of the speed she was about to fly, and off they go. Next, we see the demon keeping watch at his lair, and just as he feels a funny feeling of being watched, Matthias springs up and fruit ninjas that demon like he's a tasty watermelon on a hot summer day. The girls and dragon watch in shock and are super happy that he is their homie and not their enemy. Matthias walks around observing the demon's lair. He can feel that there's another one of them hiding, an especially strong one. Right then, Ayers just crashes out of the sky into the building, knocking Alma and Lurie out cold. They seem fine though. Matthias casts a telepathy spell on the three of them. He also gives Lurie a magical casting circle and asks them both to prepare an offensive plan. Matthias encourages and motivates them, and they head deeper into the lair together. The lair is strangely empty, but Matthias senses a concealment spell that is not just hiding the demon but also masks any emissions of magical power. He asks the girls to sense if they feel any areas devoid of magic. Lurie finds a spot, and that's where the demon is hiding. Matthias lets them know it's about to go down. He prepares a spell and has them stand by. Alma aims and fires away. The demon has no clue that they can see him and is stunned when Alma's arrow hits him right between the eyebrows. He starts babbling and then attacks Maddie. He uses telepathy to inform Alma and Lurie to prepare. Matthias blocks every attack while the demon keeps chatting shit and calling him a beast. The girls fire their arrows at him. The demon is quick with the comebacks and has an impressive array of insults. But insults cannot stop arrows. Then the arrows start doing their thing. The girlies used a special toxin on the arrowheads, and Lurie's enchantment was exacerbating the effects, destroying the demon from inside. Devious, angered, our bumbling smack talker goes full Hulk mode, showing his final form. This is the demon's trump card. The Hulkified demon turns to the girls. They run. The demon strikes, but his fingers pass through their bodies. Unfortunately for Hulk, it's an illusion filled with toxic magic, and touching it unalives him. He stands dumbstruck as Alma fires another arrow between his eyes. Matthias is super proud of his two girls for their victory, like a father or reincarnated adult in the body of a teenage boy. Gross. He sends them to Iris. He stays to finish the other demon. Maddie uses magic stones and crushes them into fine dust. This technique forces the fog demon to materialize. The demon is surprised by Matthias' abilities. He heard the other demon call Maddie a beast, but he thinks he's a motherfucker. The demon tells Matthias to prepare to meet his maker and attacks, but Matthias fears no demon. Even though the demon chops off his arm with his powerful wind sword, Matthias stands armless as the demon goads him. But while the demon chats shite, Matthias activates Big Brain and is analyzing Demon Dude's abilities. He quickly reattaches his arm like it's no big deal. I must admit there wasn't even a drop of red foam spilled, so I was kinda suspicious. But okay, let's ignore logic. The demon strikes multiple times. Maddie dodges them easily. Now it's his turn to play. He strikes the demon's hand, and the demon assumes he's been poisoned. This angers Demon Dude. He attempts a spell that will turn him into an overpowered monster, but Matthias quickly nullifies it. As a last resort, the demon casts a fog spell that dissolves everything it touches. Matthias waves his hand and cancels that. He confidently informs the demon that he hasn't poisoned him. Instead, he put a spell on him that will eventually make him go boom. The demon pleads for his life, but Maddie is no sucker. He blows him to Kingdom Come. The girls hear the explosion. Lurie, being the obsessed stalker she is, literally falls from the sky onto Maddie, expressing her worry and blushing like a crushed tomato. Maddie blushes too. Weird moment. Alma interrupts the blushing fest and asks Maddie what the heck that giant purple crystal is embedded in the ground beside him. Matthias says that it's a dragon a dragon vein pillar, which is kinda the same thing. It can do its magical power. Maddie states that the dragon vein is used to summon an army of monsters to attack the capital. Matthias knows that they can defeat the monsters, plus he's changed the location of their spawning point, giving the kingdom time to prepare. On their flight back, Iris asks Matthias if he still needs her. Maddie asks her to turn human and join them. That way his personalized Uber Dragon is always available for a quick ride. Iris loves the idea and does it, and there she is, in the buff, big booty naked. Maddie says that's perfect, but the girls freak out and try to cover his eyes. Okay, blocky Yanas. Later that night, Maddie enters the principal's office and presents him with the horns of the slain demons. Edward is shocked that Matthias was able to travel around the world so quickly. I'm more shocked that they're depending on a teenage boy. Matthias introduces Iris as an exchange student. Edward agrees to allow her, but she'll have to pass their entrance exam. Maddie agrees under the prerequisite that he's allowed to watch her take it, as Big Homie is kinda worried her dragon abilities will burn the whole place down. Matthias doesn't say a word about the monster horde or the dragon dong. He's just focused on Iris passing her exam. Get your priorities straight, yeah, psycho. Early the next day, the written exam takes place and Iris is like a fish out of water. Sucks for her, but hilarious for us. Everyone looks concerned, including the principal, but Matthias vouches for her, and they continue. Next up is the practical skills exam, led by the captain of the knights. They start fighting, and we see how clumsy Iris is. She may be clumsy, but she's strong AF. The knight tries to attack her, but Homegirl stops his attack barehanded. She even lifts him up by his sword in an alarming manner. Sir Gaius is flabbergasted and cannot believe her strength. Iris tries a counterattack, and just in time, Matthias activates a barrier spell to protect Gaius, who is sent flying. Edward can't believe his eyes. Gaius is defeated. Next is the casting exam. Iris concentrates hard to control her powerful magic, but she fails dramatically and sends an explosive beam flying. Luckily, Matthias creates a barrier as there is an enormous explosion. Iris apologizes and tries again. She sends her beam high into the sky, missing the targets completely but creating another gigantic explosion. Finally, Iris gets fed up and tries the technique that Maddie taught her. I must add, with each blast, the principal gets more and more freaked, asking if she's some kind of calamity-grade monster. He has no idea. Iris lets off another blast, and just in time, Matthias employs an extra strong barrier for protection. And they need it. Iris destroys the entire field and shocks everyone with her fearsome power. She destroys half the school, but she passes her exams. As the days continue, Matthias and the principal inspect the mining operation for their barrier. Edward says it's taking long because they need students with a stronger crest. Most of them are enrolled in the first academy, and the interschool rivalry makes this a prickly situation. He promises to ask the king for assistance. That afternoon, First Royal Academy's principal shows up as summoned by the king. He is pissed and refuses cooperation. Edward reminds the douche canoe that they are fighting demons. He also reminds the arrogant loser that they beat them at the last tournament. The other principal refuses to accept defeat, claiming demonic interference. That old fool must have dementia, as it was his demonic student. To calm things, Matthias offers a redo. The demented fool agrees, but on the condition that neither Matthias nor his crew may enter. Matthias agrees, and a date is set for a new tournament. On the appointed day, all the students with the crest of glory from the First Academy show up. It's a massive crowd. The other principal is as arrogant as ever. He gleefully insults the Second Academy and instructs his students to let their inner ass hats out. Then Matthias' classmates show up. There's 5 of them against the crowd. It begins. The Second Academy students all have lesser crests than those of First Academy. But it's irrelevant, as all First Academy students are immediately defeated by non-verbal magic. First Academy doesn't stand a chance in hell. They're blown to smithereens. It's a beautiful sight, but not for the demented principal, who loses his shit. He accuses the Second Academy of cheating. He foolishly demands that he gets to pick his student's opponent, and he chooses Iris. She's asleep, snoring snot bubbles. Big mistake, buddy. Matthias gives her a sword for the fight. Just then, Iris accidentally bends the sword, and the other principal freaks. Edward confronts the demented principal and questions why his students still use verbal enchantments. The foolish headmaster says it's tradition. To hell with them and the king. Unluckily for him, the king overhears his demented babbles. The other students are sent to the Second Academy, where they learn non-verbal magic. Sometime later, our crew discuss what's still needed for the barrier. Matthias warns that they'll have to defeat an overpowered monster to collect an enormous magic stone. He looks at Iris and tells the others that her magic stone is more than adequate. This frightens Iris and the other girls, but Maddie promises not to take hers. Instead, they'll summon a monster. We see the girls have leveled up and are able to defeat high-level monsters easily. Iris is a different story. She barely has her vast powers under control. Funny enough, she almost beheads Matthias. The girls are super proud of themselves for defeating the monsters on the 17th floor, but Iris tells them of someone who made it to the 654th floor. Matthias realizes she must be talking about his past life. They head deeper to summon a more powerful monster by using a magic stone. Matthias asks Lurie to create a casting circle. It's quite difficult, so Matthias kneels behind her. She blushes when he touches her special place with his, her crest with his, and this enables her to create a powerful magic circle. They blush some more. Matthias asks Iris to infuse some of her magic into the stone. He tells her to go slowly, but Iris overdoes it. Matthias tries to stop her, but she adds even more. Things are getting crazy now. He commands her to stop, but it's too late, and the dungeon starts to collapse. As they run away, Matthias asks why she didn't listen. She says, "I'm a woman now, and we don't listen, we just do. Plus, it's something I learned from previous life." Matthias understands. Actions from his previous life are still affecting his present. That's when an enormous dragon appears. It has pecs that last for days. Muscular dragon tatas, woohoo. Matthias orders Iris to attack the dragon, but he blocks easily. Then Matthias tells Iris to hurt the dragon's feelings. Get real nasty. The dragon is an emo boy, so he loses it. Lurie creates enchanted arrows for Alma to shoot. They have zero effect, but Matthias is preparing another strategy. That's when our emo dragon spots the 2 girls. They freeze and Iris quickly jumps to save them. Iris Mike Tyson's the emo dragon. 1-2 punching him, but she gets distracted and Dragon Boy stomps her right through the ground. The dragon tries to activate Fire Breath, but Matthias blocks it with magic. The girls keep firing off arrows and Iris is back to using Smack Talk, hurting emo dragon's feelings. Then Matthias activates a powerful spell that's capable of eliminating the dragon instantly. The attack is successful. Iris comes rushing with the dragon's magic stone, and they return to the academy. Here they continue practicing in the destroyed training area. Matthias makes a training plan for Iris. She has to dodge Alma's arrows with a monster on her head. while Matthias starts teaching Luri new enchantment skills. Matthias wants her to apply 8 different enchantments to his sword, giving him an ultra-overpowered weapon. It's a lot, but Matthias is a good teacher. Now, Luri can create a sword filled up with enchantments. Matthias is as proud as ever. That's when Matthias asks Luri to make new weapons for the crew. All 3 girls test out their weapons. They are super overpowered and destroy boulders with ease. Some time later, Edward has assembled all the students and is laying out their plan for the upcoming monster horde attack. At Matthias' location, he gets a report of unusual demon activities. Matthias is busy preparing, so he sends Alma and Luri to see what's really good and stand on business. They agree and head deep into the forest. They spot a magical portal. Luri remembers Maddie's advice. She's to continue using the special metal arrows, but this time the enchantments were up to her as each situation needs a different approach. Therefore, Luri confidently makes the arrows she thinks Alma will need. Then a demon pops from the portal, and before he can say what's good, Alma pops him in the chest, ending him quickly. No celebrating as another one pops up like a Rice Krispie in a bowl of freshly poured milk. Alma fires, but he doesn't go down. Before you can say snap, crackle, and pop, Luri slices Demon Dude from the skies. Night-night, the portal closes quickly and the girls rejoice in their victory. Who runs the world? Girls, they do, however, feel a surge of magical energy and hurry back to Matthias. He explains that the demons are preparing for a second wave and asks the girls to buy him some time. As they exit, Iris shows up with a large load of mithril. We follow the girls back to the capital where Edward is waiting for them. He has a ton of magic stones piled up for Luri. As they speak, suddenly a portal opens up above them and a cocky demon appears. The demon is surprised that a bunch of kids are waiting for him but shows no hesitation and immediately attacks with a powerful spell. He tries to blast them, but the students create a barrier. This flabbers his gasted and Demon Bro is big mad. The students fight back, but he's out of range. Alma fires an arrow, but he easily catches it. Luri is panting from exhaustion while enchanting her butt off. She asks the rest to buy her some time. Alma agrees, but the demon laughs while preparing another spell. He uses a fire spell, but it fails. Luri is struggling to make a weapon strong enough. Oh no! She only has one more magic stone left. The students hype her up and Luri overcomes her self-doubt and creates a thing of beauty. Alma fires, the arrogant demon dodges, but it's like a boomerang and it comes flying right back. Alma's attack severely injures the demon and the rest of the students simultaneously fire away. The demon falls from the sky, excommunicated. The students cheer, but another demon appears and he attacks with an irreconcilable power, blasting the children. Behind him, several more demons appear and they surround the students. Luri is desperate, feeling all hope is lost. But Alma is no wimp and trusts that Matthias will save the day. From above, the demons look down and plan a hunting competition. But like a true hero, Matthias shows up and gets to chopping, slicing, and dicing. Call him the Gordon Ramsay of demon slayers. The demons sense his aura and know that he is the one that's been hunting their homies. Matthias starts ninja fruiting the remaining demons. He dispatches them in seconds. After the demon slaughterfest, Matthias informs them that the barrier is completed. Our crew join the others in the cave, and for the finishing touch, Maddie places the magic stone in the huge crystal. The crystal glows and sends a beam of magical energy upwards. Matthias' protective barrier now encases the entire capital. The girls think it's mission accomplished, but Matthias tells them they've only just begun. He reminds them that the dragon vein will be activated soon, so thousands of monsters will appear outside their town. Next, we see Edward and the students preparing for a monster hunt. The capital may be protected with a barrier, but the surrounding towns are pretty much screwed. We see a great cloud of dust forming as the horde of monsters appear. Luckily, Matthias has laid several magical booby traps to prevent the monsters from getting through, plus the students' support wipes out many. Then, another wave appears. Spicy. Our crew join the fray. Several large, overpowered golem are part of the madness. Matthias, being a Giga Chad, just throws Iris headfirst into one of the goblin. She takes him down easily but is unimpressed with Matthias' rough treatment. It's hilarious. Alma beheads the next two golems single-handedly. Then our crew sense a strange yet powerful energy. It's known as the Void Eater. It gains its power from absorbing other monsters nearby. Cannibalistic. The girls want to fight it immediately, but Maddie with the big brain says it's best to let it absorb all the remaining monsters. He asks Lurie to carve an enchantment into a magic stone and then to chuck it into the void. He explains his plan, but it's dull, so we'll skip that. They keep chucking things into the void, yes, for recycling. And it grows enormous. The Void Eater manifests into a great googly-moogly beast. The girls are fearful, but Matthias is confident. He tells Alma and Lurie to attack with arrows while Iris is to attack its feet. Matthias activates his crest of failure and also attacks. The poor beast makes a pitiful screech. I kinda pity it. Maddie's big brain moves are getting kinda boring, but luckily the beast can regenerate. Matthias keeps attacking. He crushes several little blue pills to invigorate his sword with power. This technique, combined with several cast circles, allow Matthias to bring the Void Eater to its knees. He then fruit ninjas the beast into bite-sized pieces. Assassination achieved. They praise each other for their great teamwork. The entire kingdom, including the students and the king, are overjoyed with their achievement. Matthias studies the beast and realizes he needs to explore more dungeons. The girls get sad-faced at the news. The very next day, Matthias informs Principal Edward that he needs to leave to further research the dragon veins. Edward offers him a special scholarship initiative. Matthias gladly accepts. Lurie is heartbroken that Matthias needs to leave them. That's when Edward offers the girls the same special scholarship. They too accept his offer, with Lurie rushing to agree first as she is crushing badly. As a final goodbye, Matthias thanks Edward. Then off they go, heading to a new adventure. As the days pass, our crew travels to the next city. Matthias tells the girls that they'll be exploring the Melquia dungeon. Apparently it's a city built on a dungeon. Who builds a city on top of a monster-filled dungeon? In Maddie's previous life, no one would dare to settle above a dangerous dungeon. As they plan their route, Matthias decides that they'll take a shortcut through the forest. Lurie and Alma don't want to. The girls are freaked, but their fear only seems to excite Matthias. Bro has deep-seated issues. Off they go into the deep, dark forest. Luckily, Iris says she'll keep them safe. As they keep walking, Matthias wonders why they haven't found any monsters yet. Iris is starving though, so they stop for lunch, and Maddie has to prove he's a Sigma, so he goes hunting. He runs through the forest, picking up monster energy signals. He concentrates and picks up the leader's energy and attacks. Boom! Matthias appears with a giant albino baboon called a weasel monkey. These monkeys are intelligent and dangerous, but the girls are upset as it doesn't look appetizing at all. Matthias then unpacks his storage, which is filled with an enormous wild boar. Matthias explains that's where bacon and baby back ribs come from. Lurie makes some cooking pots from scratch, and Iris chops a tree with her fists for firewood. Matthias cooks up a delicious meal, and the girls love it. After the meat, Alma decides to serve some special soup. Matthias and Lurie are not down for the pound, but Iris is willing to be her lab rat. Iris sips some of the vile-looking green gunge soup, but even a darkness dragon cannot deal with the taste. There's a reason Alma was banned from the kitchens back at the capital. It's time to get going. Maddie guarantees that no monster will approach them, never mind attacking. As the sun sets, they reach their destination, the dungeon town Melquia. The place is pretty run down, and it looks like no one's been paying their taxes. They approach a giant lantern, and Matthias senses that it's connected straight to a dragon vein. Someone screams at them to watch out and that it may explode without warning. Just then the thing starts sparking and boom, it explodes. Luckily the crew remain unharmed. Some townspeople tell them that their new lord has ordered the people to use the new dangerous lanterns. Lurie is perturbed, and Matthias quickly asks about the vile living conditions. The people tell him that their lord has sent most of the folks to fight monsters on the 10th floor of the dungeon. Many are injured or expired. Matthias' crew are stunned that the lord is a cruel and terrible leader. Welcome to the real world, buddies. They travel to the guild to get a permit to enter the dungeon. But strangely enough, the guild worker advises against asking for permission, as they'll be enslaved to the lord demands. They inform Matthias that the lord controls everything and his orders are absurdly dangerous. But Matthias checks with the girls and they all agree, so he applies for 4 permits. Just then a townsperson rushes in and asks if any adventurer can cast healing magic, as they are in dire need of assistance. Matthias offers his services. They bring him to a church overfilled with injured, unalived, and almost excommunicated. So many lay on the verge of getting their angel wings that a stunned Matthias asks just what the heck is going down over here. He learns that the new lord is to blame. If you ask me, dude sounds like a demon. Anyway, Matthias immediately rolls his sleeves up and gets to healing. He classifies the wounded by number to keep track. As Matthias starts to heal the sick, a stuffy old priest pops up being a condescending sucker. He insults Matthias' crest and attempts to chase him away. Matthias quickly puts that scummy priest in his place and starts healing left, right, and center, proving that his crest of failure is perfect for healing. The priest was shocked into silence and starts working with Matthias. Together they heal all the injured adventurers. Some time later, all adventurers are healed and the priest apologizes to Matthias for his scummy attitude. He is impressed and claims it was a miracle. Matty corrects him again and says, "Nah, it's just teamwork." Then Matthias starts questioning the priest about their previous lord and what exactly happened to him. It seems the previous lord of the city passed away abruptly. Then a new lord started running them straight into hell. Matthias thinks that demons are to blame for the city's current hellscape. He thinks the new lord may even be a demon. Our crew makes their way to a lodge to spend the night. They have decided to stay and save the city. Matthias informs the girls that he'll be sending a secret letter to Principal Edward so that he can report back to the king. They also have received their permits, so they plan on exploring the dungeon to see what's really good. Everyone lies sleeping, except for Luri. She's having all kinds of fantasies in her head about Matthias, and he too is awake thinking the same things. Just then, Iris and Alma start conversing in their sleep. This lightens the mood as the sleep talkers seem to be in sync. But Matthias and Luri are blushing and filled with anxiety at the thought of their crush being so close by. Early the next morning they head to the dungeons. Our crew stand in front of the dungeon's large metal gate. They head inside. Next we see Matthias and the crew back at the guild with an enormous monster head that they want to sell. The receptionist is shocked that Matthias and his girls were able to destroy the beast that has hurt so many. She says that the guild can accept it from now, but payment will only come upon confirmation by the Lord. Matthias approves and then spies as she writes her report for the Lord. She includes in her report that the girls are excellent fighters, but Matty is a weakling who only knows how to heal. Finally, we get to see the Lord. He is pleasantly surprised that a group of young adventurers defeated such strong monsters. Dude seems ominous. We next see our crew at the dinner table enjoy a bountiful feast as they celebrate their success. During dinner, Matthias spots some villains watching them. As they walk back to the lodge, they are followed, but clever Matthias leads the girls into an alley under the guise of a shortcut. Once there, he uses telepathy to explain. Matthias thinks the men tailing them are sent by the Lord, so he casts an invisibility spell to see. The crew, now invisible, leave the baddies confused AF. Matthias discovers that the men have been watching them for ages. Our crew reappear and play dumb, asking the way back to their inn. The baddies, being stupid at best, show them the way. In the blink of an eye, Matthias is held captive. Matthias plays along, acting like a complete noob. It's terribly hilarious. Luri and Alma can barely contain their laughter. The baddies duly inform our crew that they know all about them. Somehow they're under the impression that Matthias is just a weakling capable only of healing magic. The baddies start making demands, and this is when Matthias politely asks Iris not to hurt them too badly. This really amuses the baddies and they get excited. Iris walks over and starts kicking butts all over the square. Within a few seconds it's all over. While standing over their knocked out bodies, Matthias applies a locator spell to trace who sent them. Upon awakening the next day, we see that Matthias has received a letter from the king, so head out to meet the royal proxy. Ike, the proxy, meets them at an underground location. He has orders. The king orders Matthias to arrest Lord Dokiel of Melkia. The whole crew is down to do it. Matthias informs the proxy of his locator spell placed on the Lord's henchman, so finding him won't be a problem. The proxy offers reinforcements, but Matthias politely declines. They arrive at the Lord's manor, but it seems strangely deserted. Matthias uses magic to check what's really good, and surprise, surprise, it's a setup. Inside, an enormous crew is waiting to jump them. The royal proxy wants to withdraw immediately, but Matthias says we're not going nowhere. Let's bum rush these fools. Matthias and the rest enter through the front, welcoming the battle. The baddies laugh at our homies, surprised at their guts. Luri immediately covers them in a protective barrier. Next, Matthias attacks with a spell powerful enough to electrocute all opponents. The king's proxy, like us, is impressed. Our homies go searching for the punk of a lord. Maddie's super senses locate him. He finds a secret door leading underground. In the meantime, the foolish lord seems to be under the impression that his gang has defeated our homies. He sits in his panic room like Dr. Evil, rubbing the kitty on his lap. Then Matthias appears. Lord Dokil still thinks Matthias is a weakling, and he tries to lure our big homie into another setup. Matthias attacks and instantly defeats the baddies. The girls are delighted that Lord Dokil is dumb enough to believe that Maddie is the weakest. The proxy then arrests Lord Dokil. Dokil is dumb but also a G and refuses the arrest, saying they have no authority. Matthias just clicks his fingers, sending Dokil to sleep. Now, Matthias is quite sure that demons are supporting this lord. He finds the scraps of a burnt letter and feels the lingering presence of demonic energy upon it. Lurie is concerned that the demons want the magic stones, but Matthias thinks they probably want to activate the dragon vein down in the dungeon. Worst case scenario, they activate the dragon vein with magic leading to a worldwide catastrophe. Then the ground begins to shake. The demons are already tampering with the dragon vein and have spawned another monster horde. Jesus, Matthias calculates that the horde will need approximately 2 hours to reach the city of Melquia. Matthias must deactivate the dragon vein. They hurry to the dungeon and Matthias finds the dragon vein thanks to Iris's mining ability. The demons have covered it in demonic energy, so Matthias tells his girls to do everything they can to stop the dragon vein from activating. Matthias opens a telepathic communication channel to keep contact and then heads off to find the demon. Their mission is a go as there's only an hour before the monster horde is at their doorstep. Matthias defeats all the monsters he finds until he finally tracks down the demon. The demon is expecting Matthias and cheekily asks if he's the one interfering with their dragon dong manipulation. While chatting shite to Matthias, the demon is in secret communication with others, but unbeknownst to him, Matthias has hacked them and like the NSA is listening. Come to find out, this demon's bossman knows all about the dragon veins and our crew. This excites Matthias, but for now he attacks the demon, who blocks him with a powerful crest, another cocky demon with a superiority complex. Matthias figures out that this barrier was specifically created to ward off users with the crest of failure. Made just for Maddie. How exciting. The demon starts attacking with magical spirit balls. Matthias dodges them easily. The demon's bossman seems to know exactly how Matthias' crest works and how to defeat him. Matthias forms a protective barrier just in time as explosive balls fly at his head. Large explosions are heard all over the dungeon. Luckily, our big homie is a true G and completely unhurt, ready to end it. Irritated, the demon tries to trap Matthias, but Lurie's casting circles nullifies that. Stunned, the demon starts to panic, and that's when Matthias cuts off the demon's communication with his bossman. Now, Matthias is ready to end this, and he launches powerful attacks in quick succession. Then Maddie uses his sword to deeply penetrate the demon's barrier. Sexy, it shatters, and the frightened demon calls him a wretched beast. Really, what's with all the demons calling Maddie a beast? Emotional damage. Somehow the communication line between the demon and bossman is reactivated. The bossman somehow knows that Maddie is the reincarnation of Gaius. He orders his servant to unlock his final form. Go Hulkiana. Hulk demon starts attacking Matthias with all his got, but we already know bro has zero chance of success. The demon starts to wallow in self-pity, and Matthias explains how he is able to defend and attack simultaneously. He is Gaius after all. Matthias then sends a stream of energy with his sword and somehow slices off the demon's arm. The demon's final words are how he refuses to be defeated by a child, but Matthias beheads him without further ado. He communicates his win to the girls, who cheer for him. We hear that the horde has disappeared thanks to Lurie's restoration of the dragon dong. All that's left is figuring out just who the heck bossman is. He seems to have all deets on Gaius and how to battle Maddie. Then bossman invites himself to the telepathic group chat. He's a cheeky bugger, calling Maddie an obnoxious brat, and tries to trick Maddie with a trap at a fake location. But Maddie doesn't fall for the okie doke and warns bossman that he will find him, kinda like Liam Neeson in the movie Taken. Maddie is literally dripping with excitement at the thought of a worthy foe. Matthias, you are one sick puppy, but I love it. That evening, our crew are discussing their plans. Finding Bossman is their next mission. Locating him may not be that difficult, as Matthias is still able to find traces of Bossman's magical signature. All he needs is a special device made by himself 1,000s of years ago. Suspicious, the girls wonder how Matthias knows about this 1,000-year-old device. Stupidly, he almost reveals that he built it. Come on, Maddie. They need to return to the capital to get visas to cross the border. So back they go. As they arrive at the school, they're shocked to see a construction site. Luckily, Edward pops up. He greets them warmly and tells them what's going on. They are transforming the school to make it more secure. In the principal's new office, they give him the rundown of what's been happening. Matthias also reports that they'll have to cross the borders of the Leginia Union in search of a magical device. Edward says he'll ask the king for assistance. As they have to wait on an answer, Matthias offers to assist in the construction efforts. Iris is excited to join in, but everyone, including the principal, is fearful of her overpowered assistance. Once outside, our crew jumps into action. Matthias helps us with the construction plans while Luri and Ala enchant the materials. Iris tries to activate Mexican construction mode, but she's just a clumsy dragon in a little girl's body. Some days later, their visas get the royal seal of approval. It's like a European passport, easy international access guaranteed, and they're off. Come to find out, the magical device is in a restricted region only open to high-ranked adventurers. They'll have to increase their ranks. Our crew head to the Adventurers Guild, where they are met by the Guildmaster. The king has asked for assistance and international cooperation in light of the demonic interference. The Guildmaster is honored to help them. The crew ask for the A-rank exam, and the Guildmaster allows it. The test consists of them battling against a specially selected examiner. That's when Gaius appears. Arrogant and handsome with impressive magical prowess. A dangerously delicious combination. He announces himself as the examiner, which surprises the Guildmaster. Matthias feels his powerful energy, which is almost comparable to a demon. Gaius is an S-rank adventurer. This guy is a battle junkie. Fighting is all he lives for. Gaius has never lost a fight, so all those who tested against him failed. This of course excites our masochistic big homie. Strangely, Gaius immediately passes all the girls but singles out Matthias and challenges him. He says word on the block is that Matty is the big dog and Gaius wants to beat him down to prove himself the best in the West. Challenge accepted. They enter the arena and Gaius is just as excited as Matty. Weirdos. The Guildmaster stands with our girls and warns them that Gaius is a combat prodigy. This worries them all except Iris, who is standing asleep and snoring peacefully. Gaius announces that he doesn't use magic, and off they go. Matthias immediately senses that Gaius unknowingly is using magical techniques. Instinctually, it's hard against hard and quite a sight to behold. The boys are a match made in Street Fighter heaven. Matthias, as usual, uses big brain to analyze Gaius' fighting style and movements. He senses Gaius is constantly unwittingly activating many different spells. Gaius senses that Matthias isn't using his full power. He demands he does. So Matthias jumps up and comes flying down at a fast speed with his sword ready to slice. Gaius mimics Matthias' jump technique, improving it mid-flight. Incredible. His skills are beautiful. Bro is a Giga Chad. Suddenly, Bro dives down to strike Matthias, leaving a dust cloud behind, and the girls are a little worried, but Matthias blocks it easily. Then Matthias shows a hint of his power and defeats Gaius with a simple attack. Gaius acknowledges his defeat honorably. He also admits that this is his first loss ever, and humbly asks for improvement advice. Matthias pulls out a textbook he wrote himself. He hands it to Gaius and encourages him to study hard to improve his spellcasting. He says that Gaius is a natural. Gaius doesn't trust all this magic blah blah enchantment nonsense. Then Matthias explains that he uses wordless magic. He also informs Gaius that he is instinctively using magic, so he may as well learn if he wants to improve. Shocked, Gaius thanks him and tries to read, but he sucks at that. Ha! A bromance is formed, and later that day, Gaius gives them an update on the rumors going round about the neighboring country. Apparently things over there are weird AF anyway. Gaius says if they ever need any help, he is only one call away. Our friends head to the nearby border. They are given passes. Matthias notices an encoded message on the back. It says that they must be dealt with immediately. Even stranger is that the coding technique is demonic. The whole neighboring country is under demonic control. Up ahead, Matthias notices a group waiting for them. He and Iris will create a commotion while Luri and Alma are given sleep magic. Maddie creates an illusion. Then he and Iris head towards the group. The baddies start firing arrows at them while Luri and Alma sneak behind and activate the sleep magic. Everyone goes KO, including Alma and Luri.
They're asleep.
Matthias wakes the girls up and Lori is super embarrassed. He reminds her to next time check the range of the magic before using it. And then our crew infiltrate Foggy Fokia. They feel a demonic presence coming from the city. Luri senses about 30 demon energies. Matthias says they are most likely in disguise. He also explains that they may be demi-demons who work together since they are much weaker than regular demons. But together they pose a major threat. Matthias luckily already has a plan in mind, and it starts by entering a hidden passage he found. They are underground the city. It's dark and stinky. Just then a rat runs over Luri's foot and she clings to Matthias. They share another blushing moment. Luckily they move on fast as Matthias senses a demon close by. Matthias activates a spell that allows him to enter the wall so that he can take the demon from behind. This technique shocks the demon into a mind-controlled state, as I think it would most of us. They make it to the city center and are terrified to see the townsfolk walking around zombified. The demons are inspired by the Zombie Nation video game. Matthias uses his magic to discover most of the townsfolk have been stupefied. They spot just how the demons do it, with a blast to the brain. Matthias recreates their stupefaction symbol to fool the demons. They start using telepathy to communicate secretly, and Matthias instructs the girls to act like stoners. Clumsy Iris overdoses as per usual and crashes to the ground. A demon quickly appears to check on the stoners. He thinks they may have been exposed to too much stony Malonies and sends them inside. Here they discover that the citizens are being forced to mine magical ore. Matthias comments that these stones are the basis of explosives. He also says that at least a ton is needed to blow up a kingdom, but that will take several decades to mine. A powerful demon with great magical knowledge must be the mastermind. Matthias vows to save the townsfolk from this hypnotic hell. The dangers of mining these explosive stones cannot be denied. The crew study the town's map and come up with a plan. Matthias knows that the demons are all connected like a hive mind. Alma and Luri are frightened by the implication, but Matthias says no worries. Suddenly, a giant blue beam shoots up into the sky, activating all the surrounding demons who immediately alert their comrades. Their leader orders the other demi-demons to locate the source immediately. The demons start surrounding Area 51. The demons use Reckon to determine what's good, but it's a trap. Iris and Matthias start slicing the demi-demons. They pick them off one by one, leaving the demons flustered and freaked. This is Matthias' plan. Iris's extremely powerful signature is used as bait to lure the demons. We watch her lure them. Matthias slices while the rest dices. The demons think that Iris is working alone and none have realized that there's a secret team weeding them out. The demi-demon leader orders his men to scan for traps or magical energy. Quickly, Matthias tells the girls to conceal their abilities so as to remain undetected. The demons are unable to trace them and Matthias instructs them to eliminate everybody. Then the leader realizes something's up and moves to investigate. Maddie and the girls have eliminated 22 demons already. The demi-demon's leader takes a better look at the body of one of his fallen men and is able to trace two distinct energies. Oops, the leader informs his team of what the hell is really good. He decides to blow up the city. Then a demon suddenly falls face first off the roof. Gaius is there and is ready to go to war. The demons and their leader foolishly believe that Gaius is the assassin. Matthias senses Gaius' presence and is proud of his Giga Chad homie. While they surround Gaius, Matthias sneaks from the back and takes out 2. 4 to go. Just then 3 demons turn towards Matthias and pounce, but Iris is ever ready and fruit ninjas all 3 up them. Only the leader remains. He and Gaius are in a battle for their lives. The demon wounds Gaius. Maddie asks if he needs backup, but Gaius says to keep his distance. Both fighters go Super Saiyan and they strike each other repeatedly. Matthias is confident that his bromance buddy will win. The demon starts taunting Gaius as demons do. Gaius employs a powerful spell that he learned from Maddie's textbook. It causes great damage to his opponent but weakens Gaius immensely. The demon, almost at the end of his rope, tries one more powerful attack and it lands. Gaius is severely injured, but when Matthias steps in to help, he screams that he is no punk, stands to his feet and gives another powerful attack, but with double strength. Gaius and Demi-Demon are both on their last, badly injured and stubborn AF. They face each other one last time and attack with every last bit of strength. The sun rises as they both strike, and Gaius is the last man standing. Red foam sprays everywhere, but Homeboy is so proud of his abilities and what he overcame. Our crew run to his side and congratulate. The fight is over, or so we thought. The demon opens his eyes and they glow a menacing red. He runs to attack Alma and Lurie at Usain Bolt speed. Matthias jumps in between just in time. Matthias feels an overwhelming aura radiating off the Demi-Demon, way more powerful than it was before. Then it starts to speak in a much deeper voice. "Morgan Freeman, is that you?" "Nah, it's the bossman from Melquia's dungeon, controlling the Demi-Demon's corpse through intense magic." He warns Matthias that soon he'll be free, and he'll be coming for that reincarnated booty. Then the demon evaporates. Caught up in the madness, our crew almost forget about Gaius. His red foam is all over the place and he weakly begs for a healing hand. Matthias rushes over to lay hands. "'Cause that's what bros are for." He heals him quickly. Post-handy clarity comes fast. Meanwhile, the villagers awake from their hypnotic haze. Gaius jumps to attention and takes over. He mentions an emergency authorization law. Gaius asked for any authority figures to step forward. The factory foreman does so and Gaius immediately names him the provisional lord of Folkia. Gaius does have the power for one more thing. He issues Matthias and the girls special permits that immediately give them access to the restricted area. They thank him and part ways. Our crew heads onwards, traveling through valleys and over mountains. They arrive at the ruin of an enormous abandoned estate. Alma and Lurie are amazed by the design and wonder how it was built, while Matthias admires his handiwork. They stand in front of an ancient pyramid that has no entry point. Iris offers to bust it down, but Matthias tells them that infusing it with magic should do the trick. The pyramid levitates, revealing a black hole. Maddie accidentally lets it slip that he built it, but tries to distract the girls. Lurie calls Matthias a genius. Mr. Genius jumps into the black hole and tells them to follow. They do. Iris joins them and cracks the ground upon landing. They spot the device built into the floor in the middle of the room. Before he activates it, Maddie sends the girls to hunt for other magical items or treasures. Knowing that Alma and Lurie are gold diggers, this distracts them easily. For some reason, Iris thinks she'll find food in a secret sealed-off pyramid ruin from 1,000s of years ago. Not the brightest crayon in the box, that one. With all the girls distracted, Matthias easily activates his device. Lurie runs back to Maddie with an old sword from his previous life. He's not really bothered. The sword is useless. He thinks back to when he had a habit of making cringy weapons that looked cool but were worthless. Next, Alma comes running with a giant spear, and Matthias has to explain that it's a literal Death Star capable of evaporating the user and anyone near them. But Iris surprises all when she rocks up with a box filled with preserved foods. They may have a preservation spell, but we're still thousands of years old. Iris immediately faints after opening one. Okay, enough distractions. Matthias activates the magical device fully. The ground starts to quake as the machine starts running. The analysis is complete and the device displays a lot of data. Matthias learns this demon is most dangerous and super overpowered. In fact, it may be capable of wiping out all of humanity. Matthias pops the crystal that they found in the dungeon in the magical device. He activates wide-range detection and immediately red lightning sparks out. The data screens turn red, almost overloading the system. Then an image appears on the screen. It's the demon Zardius, who's been incarcerated in a seal, but that seal is about to break. Matthias grimly tells all that Zardius is stronger than him, than them, than everybody. Matthias shares more bad news. Only with an immortality spell and a training sesh of 1,000 years could they maybe have a small chance of beating it. But all us humans would be deleted while they trained. So Maddie would have to form a harem with the girls to rebuild humanity. A scary thought for all involved. This is Maddie's solution. Wears wonders out loud if Matthias had a centuries-old weapon with some kick to it. Iris, you genius. This reminds Maddie of a legendary sword he built in his previous life. He quickly uses his device to find it, and behold, it's lying in the royal chamber of their king. While they cheer, Zardius breaks free. We see Matthias and the girls riding Iris back to the capital to claim the legendary sword. They strategize, and Maddie gives Alma and Luri each a crystal that's capable of detecting his sword. Then the overpowered energy of Zardius reaches them, powerful enough to make Iris stumble mid-flight. Our girls rush to find Maddie's legendary weapon. In the meantime, he'll try and keep Zardius occupied and hopefully not get his angel wings. With the girls safely on the ground, Matthias prepares for battle. He infuses his weapon with magic and tells Iris that he's preparing to seal space to block Zardius' entry. Maddie's is not sure it will work, but he must try. Back to Alma and Luri, almost at the royal palace. Alma wasn't too sure about stealing the weapon from the royal chamber, but Luri told her that all humanity depends on them. No time for self-doubt, babes. And up they jump. The powerful energy can now be felt everywhere. Matthias' attempt fails. Below, all the citizens are watching the sky. Matthias asked Iris to fire blast and then retreat. Zardius teases their pathetic attempt at harming him. After a few more insults, he says bye-bye humanity and sends a blast straight at Iris. Luckily, Maddie deflects it with magical barriers. Zardius turns his attention to Matthias. He's aware that this reincarnated boy is much weaker than Gaius. Back at the palace, Luri and Alma beg the guard to help them. He refuses and summons assistance. The king appears. Luri quickly informs him what's really good. The king allows them access. Meanwhile, Matthias is fighting for his life. Maddie can't get a single hit in and is injured. Luckily, Iris catches him as he falls. Zardius is disappointed by Maddie's weakness. Matthias himself is surprised at the power gap, but he can't give up now. That's when Matthias decides to give his life. Luri and Alma are still taking their sweet time searching. Luckily, the magic stone starts to glow. They have found the sword. They rush to Matthias. Zardius is no fool and realizes Maddie is up to something. While they fight, Zardius informs Maddie that he knows his plan and he may think that he's keeping demons out with his barrier, but Zardius can revive excommunicated demons, so buckle up, baby. That's when an old enemy pops up near Luri and he's ready to battle. Alma fires her infused arrows while Luri fruit ninjas him. Sayonara. Another one appears. He demands the weapon from them and he has hostages. Back to Matthias, who senses the demonic energy in the capital. Zardius isn't playing. He pretends to attack the barrier but actually aims at Iris. Matthias saves her but is losing strength quickly. Zardius has him cornered and laughs at Maddie. Meanwhile, the hostages are braver than expected, but our babes stupidly hand over the weapons that Matthias desperately needs. He considers quitting, maybe even reincarnating again. Then he remembers his friends and decides to knuckle up. Back to the capital, backup arrives and together they defeat the demon. We jump back to Matthias, who as a last resort uses his life energy to power his magic. He trusts his friends will supply the weapon. He and Iris fight together, but she's blasted from the sky. She falls at the girl's feet and says to throw the damn sword already. Maddie catches it, but at that very moment he is slain. Everyone is stunned. Maddie's body starts falling to the ground. Luri starts crying, "Girl, me too." Then his sword glows and Big Homie is glowing too. Apparently the sword needs its owner to be unalived in order to work. The sword powers him up like Super Saiyan Blue. Maddie is faster and stronger. It's like a god fighting a demon. Zardius is pissed. He asks him, "What's your set, bro?" Matthias responds, "I'm the strongest sage with the weakest crest. What's good, homie?" Then he fruit ninjas Zardius like it's nothing. As he starts evaporating, Zardius laughs and says, "You may have gotten me, but I'm rolling deep and they're coming for you." Matthias heads down to earth and Luri jumps on him. Overjoyed at his survival, Matthias blushes deeply and then starts spraying red foam from excitement. Edward thanks Maddie for saving the world. To ensure everyone's safety, Matthias releases all the pent-up energy in the sword and it explodes. I guess that's the effect Luri has on him. The next morning, they head to the king. He rewards them with treasure and our gold-digging girlies are overjoyed. Matthias' crew search the royal chamber but find nothing. Iris does pop up with an arrow through her head. Matthias remembers it's one of his creations and should have a matching bow. He knows its power and plans on getting it to Alma, but the bow was rusted, so the soldiers sold it to the ISIS company. Our friends fear it's been melted down, and they're right. Matthias still buys the shop's entire collection. As they turn to leave, Iris spots an enormous purple crystal and begs Maddie to buy it for her. Then Alma reminds Maddie that all girls love shiny things, so he quickly gets something pretty for Luri too. As they exit the shop, Edward shows up and asks them to quickly join him. They head to the chief of the knights, who shows them a large wooden robot powered by human energy. Apparently 300 of those suckers attacked the neighboring Sidhill Empire. Demons may have taken control. The chief of knights begs Maddie to help them once again. That evening, Matthias meets with Luri somewhere dark and isolated and asks her to close her eyes. Okay, things are getting freaky. He stands before her and touches her. Well, he puts an ugly necklace on her, one he obviously made by hand. We see our girly voyeurs watching them from a distance as Luri blushes and tells Maddie she loves it and will treasure it. Girl, why? And what the heck, that's the end? I hope there's a season 2 cause I feel played. I mean, there were a few lessons like don't be an arrogant demon. Don't underestimate your enemies, and actions in your past life may affect your present. But come on, they don't even know he is Gaius, bro, what? This is your anime sensei signing off saying don't end your animes this way. Y'all be safe now.